Teacher asked, "If I gave you 2 cats and another 2 cats and another 2, how many would you have?" Johnny replied, 7. Teacher said, "No, listen carefully. If I gave you 2 cats and another 2 cats and another 2, how many would you have?" Johnny replied again, 7. Teacher said, "Let me put it to you differently. If I gave you 2 apples and another 2 apples and another 2, how many would you have?" Johnny replied, 6. Teacher said, "Good. Now if I gave you 2 cats and another 2 cats and another 2, how many would you have?" Johnny again replied, 7. Teacher angrily asked, "Johnny, where in the heck do you get 7 from?" Johnny answered, "Because I've already got a freaking cat." A kid said to his friend, "Hey, I bet you're still a virgin." Friend responded, "Yeah, I was a virgin until last night." Kid quickly said, "As if." Friend responded again, "Yeah, just ask your sister." Kid replied, "I don't have a sister." Friend said, "You will in about 9 months." A child asked his father, "How were people born?" The father replied, "Adam and Eve made babies. Then their babies became adults and made babies, and so on." The child then went to his mother, asked her the same question, and she told him, "We were monkeys, and then we evolved to become like we are now." The child ran back to his father and said, "You lied to me." His father replied, "No, your mom was talking about her side of the family." Teacher asked, "Kids, what does the chicken give you?" The student said, "Meat." The teacher responded, "Very good. Now what does the pig give you?" The student said, "Bacon." The teacher responded again, "Great. And what does the fat cow give you?" The student said, "Homework." My friend thinks he's smart. He told me an onion is the only food that makes you cry. So I threw a coconut at his face. Jack and Molly are sitting in school one day. Molly is asleep when the teacher asks her a question. "Molly, who created heaven and earth?" Jack sees Molly is sleeping and quickly pokes her with a sharp pencil. "Jesus Christ!" shouts Molly. "Correct," says the teacher. The next day, the teacher asks, "Molly, who created heaven and earth?" Molly is again asleep and is poked by Jack's pencil. "Jesus Christ!" she shouts. "Correct again," says the teacher. The next day, for a third time, Molly is asleep. This time, the teacher asks her, "What did Eve say to Adam when she had so many children?" Jack pokes Molly with the pencil again, and this time Molly screams, "If you stick that thing in me one more time, I'm gonna crack it in half." A robber breaks into a house while the residents are away one dark night. Eager to see what he can loot, he quickly starts searching through cupboards and dressers, grabbing valuables with a trained eye. Suddenly, he hears a voice come out of nowhere. "Jesus is watching you." The criminal jumps scared, thinks the residents are back, and freezes. After a few minutes of silence, however, he assumes it was his imagination and goes back to robbing. A couple of minutes pass before once again, the voice returns. "Jesus is watching you." Quite confused, the thief searches the house and checks the front door, but nothing pops out as unusual. He finally decides to move rooms and finds a parrot, but ignores it. Before he can begin to do anything, someone speaks again. "Jesus is watching you." The robber realized it was the parrot talking. Going to the parrot, he asks, "Are you the one who's been talking to me?" The parrot responds, "Yes." The thief couldn't believe it, so he asks another question. "What is your name?" "Ismael." The parrot replies. The man scoffed. "What type of idiot names a parrot Ismael?" The parrot speaks yet again. "The same type of idiot that names a Rottweiler Jesus." A bus full of ugly people had a head-on collision with a truck. When they died, God granted all of them one wish. The first person said, "I want to be gorgeous." God snapped his fingers and it happened. The second person said the same thing and God did the same thing. This went on and on throughout the group. God noticed the last man in line was laughing hysterically. By the time God got to the last 10 people, the last man was laughing and rolling on the ground. When the man's turn came, he laughed and said, "I wish they were all ugly again." 3 Europeans come to America. They all get captured by Native Americans and they want to kill them. But the Europeans beg to have their lives spared. The Native Americans agree to not kill them on one condition. The Europeans must go into the forest and bring back a fruit and they will be informed what to do with it. So the first guy comes back with a peach. The Native American says, "Shove it up your ass. If you laugh, we kill you." So he shoves the peach up his ass and he laughs and the Native Americans kill him. The second guy comes back with a grape. The Native American tells him the same thing. He laughs and the Native American kills him. They both see each other in heaven and the first guy says to the second guy, "I had a peach and peaches are fuzzy, so that's why I laughed, but you had a grape. What happened?" The second guy says, "Oh yeah, I was doing just fine until I saw the other guy come back with a pineapple." A man with a gun goes into a bank and demands for money. Once he has given the money, he turns to a customer and asks, "Did you see me rob this bank?" The man replied, "Yes, sir, I did." The robber shot him in the head, killing him instantly. He then turned to a couple standing next to him and asked the man, "Did you see me rob this bank?" The man replied, "No, sir, I didn't, but my wife did." At a hotel restaurant, a man sees an attractive woman sitting alone at the next table. Suddenly, she sneezes, and a glass eye comes flying out of her eye socket. It hurls by the man, and he snatches it from the air and hands it back to her. "This is so embarrassing," the woman says, and she pops her eye back in place. "I'm sorry to have disturbed you. Let me buy dinner to make it up to you. May I join you?" He nods. The woman is a stimulating conversationalist, stunningly pretty, and the man finds they have a lot in common. He gets her phone number and asks, "You are the most charming woman I've ever encountered. Are you this nice to every guy you meet?" "No," she replies. "You just happened to catch my eye." A young boy enters a barber shop and the barber whispers to his customer, "This is the dumbest kid in the world. Watch while I prove it to you." The barber puts a dollar bill in one hand and 2 quarters in the other, then calls the boy over and asks, "Which do you want, son?" The boy takes the quarters and leaves. "What did I tell you?" said the barber. "That kid never learns." Later, when the customer leaves, he sees the same young boy coming out of the ice cream parlor. "Hey, son, may I ask you a question? Why did you take the quarters instead of the dollar bill?" The boy licked his cone and replied, "Because the day I take the dollar, the game is over."